started seeing some storm action yesterday, and that's because we started seeing a disturbance make its way in right here, and that's making its way. Not a very strong system, but it is enough for us to see some rainfall in our area. In fact, when we started seeing yesterday, northern Minnesota, a good amount. We saw some places get an inch, even close to 2 inches around the Iron Range, but the attention is now focusing along the South Shore. You're going into northwest Wisconsin and the UP, and this is where we do have a flash flood warning along Highway 2, going from Keystone through Ashland into Odonna. So you want to keep an eye. It's not raining right now. It looks like there is some new development making its way into the same area, but we just need to keep an eye. If there's any flooded roads, do not drive into it because it doesn't take as much water as you think to cause issues for your vehicle. And again, a lot of deaths and injuries related to flooding actually occur in vehicles. So just be safe as you get out this morning. But if we're looking at satellite radar right now, again, we have a little bit of development down here, but most of it is into the UP right now. Looks like it's starting to calm down a bit, but we're likely to see a bit more development as we start to head into the afternoon. Again, mostly northwest Wisconsin and the UP, though we can see a little bit into Minnesota, some stray showers and even thunderstorms possible. And then as we start to move forward, we finally will start to see that clearing as we start to head into Wednesday, and that's not before we see a bit of fog when we get to. But if you look here, we do have the excessive rainfall today, marginal risk. So again, with that redevelopment, we can see later, can continue to see sometimes some pretty good downpour, especially into the UP. I want to turn attention to it because I did mention some fog, and that's because of all the rain we're seeing, all the added moisture overnight. Can see some pretty dense fog. Seeing it this morning, especially northern Minnesota, we can see some dense fog in the same areas again, as well as we get into northwest Wisconsin and the UP. So something to keep in mind as you get out for tomorrow morning. And when it comes to temperatures, highs today getting into the upper 60s for a lot of us. Out further west inland, getting into the low 70s. So pretty seasonal with those temperatures, even though it's going to be a cloudy and gloomy day. And low temperatures, this is going to help it cool down a bit because in northern Minnesota might be dropping into the 40s, a little bit warmer as you get into northwest Wisconsin and the UP. And with the cooler temperature, especially in northern Minnesota, that's going to allow for more fog once again. It'll also going to help more fog because it's a high pressure system, but this high pressure system will do a lot more than bring fog. It's going to really influence the weather for the middle of the week, and that includes easterly winds that are going to be dry, and if over Lake Superior, thanks to that lake breeze, going to be cool as well. Let's look at the high temperatures as we get into Wednesday. As you get further inland, getting into the 70s, maybe even get into the mid 70s there, so a little bit on the warm side for this time of year. By Lake Superior, though, that lake breeze is going to keep it quite cool, probably in the 60s in this model, and some of them are even showing staying in the 50s for some spots, so it's going to feel a lot cooler by Lake Superior. And if you look at the rain probabilities for Thursday, and you can see nothing to really be seen at all. Most of the rain out west, so we're going to be pretty dry starting tomorrow going into Thursday. But things start to change as we get into Friday. Start seeing some scattered showers and thunderstorms make their way in, a part of a disturbance coming in out of the west, and that will continue through the weekend. Not going to be a big blockbuster system. We're going to have a ridge in the jet stream going to prevent this, but it is going to bring enough instability to see some on and off rain and thunderstorms as we go Friday through the weekend, maybe even into next week. But speaking of next week, we're going to talk about temperatures because overall, especially once you're away from Lake Superior, going to be staying more on the warm side all the way even into next week. How much by the time we get towards next week is going to be the question. Here's one of the models showing we're going to mostly see southeasterly breeze. That's going to keep temperatures, more into the 60s, low 70s there, maybe into the mid 70s. So just a little bit above the seasonal temperatures. But one other model, this is the GFS model, shows more south to southwesterly flow, and that can push temperatures well into the 70s, maybe into the 80s, pushing records. And likely it's going to be the first option. I showed there more of a southeasterly flow, but I do expect temperatures to be a bit warmer, probably getting into the mid 70s as we get into next week. But of course, that's away from Lake Superior because you can see for the 7-day forecast, if you're by Lake Superior, probably going to be staying in the 60s, maybe 50s, at least for this week. And as we get towards the weekend, warm temperatures are going to be sticking around, and we're going to see some rain make its way on back.